Okay, let's dive into this. We usually think the facts of a story are what really matter, right? But what if I told you that how that story is presented, the frame it's put in, is actually way more powerful? Today, we are pulling back the curtain on something called framing theory. It's this invisible force that's shaping pretty much every story you hear.
I mean, really think about it. The news you scroll through, the posts you see on social media, even the emails you get from companies. Are you just getting the raw information? Or is there something else going on? Like a hidden architecture carefully built to guide how you think and feel about it all?
So at first glance, the definition seems pretty clear. Our source material calls framing a psychological process. See, it's not just about telling a story. It's about deliberately shaping that story to get a very specific reaction from you, the audience.
So this invisible power, how does it actually work? And, what makes it so different from just, say, tailoring a message for a specific audience?
This slide really nails the distinction. On one hand, you've got adaptation. Think of that as just adjusting the content so your audience understands it. Simple enough. But framing, that's a whole different game. It's about psychology. It's about actively building the narrative with a specific goal, a desired response in mind. The real difference here, the absolute key, is the intent behind it.
All right, so with a tool this powerful, you'd expect a crystal clear definition, wouldn't you? Like a user manual that everyone agrees on? Well, this is where our whole story takes a very, very interesting twist.
And here it is, the bombshell. Get this quote from 2021. After decades of being studied and used, experts are still uncertain about what a frame actually precisely is. Isn't that wild?
And that brings us to the absolute core of the mystery here. It's what our source calls the problematic issue of a lack of consensus. For something that is talked about so much in communication, it's kind of mind-blowing that nobody can seem to agree on what it fundamentally is.
Okay, this slide breaks down the dilemma perfectly. Look on the left. When you try to define what a frame is, the definitions are super vague. Principles of selection, emphasis. But look on the right. When you describe what a frame does, suddenly the explanations get way more specific, focusing on its function. So it's like we can all see the effects of the frame. We can see what it does, but its true nature, still a total mystery.
And this isn't some new debate, by the way. This timeline shows just how long this has been going on. We're talking since 1980 with these vague definitions, then a shift of function in the 90s, and then researchers basically calling out the problem ever since. We are looking at a 40-year-old academic mystery.
So, an academic debate. Big deal, right? Who cares if a bunch of researchers can't agree? Well, this is where it stops being theoretical and starts getting very, very real. Because framing theory isn't just locked away in some university library.
Oh no, it's out in the wild. It's being used every single day by PR pros, by social media managers, by basically anyone who's a professional communicator. It is a fundamental tool of their trade, even if they don't call it by name. And here it is. This is the big flashing warning sign. We have professionals out there right now shaping public opinion and public discourse with an incredibly powerful psychological tool that even the experts who study it can't fully define. Just let that sink in for a second. Which brings this whole explainer right back around to you. Now that you've seen the power and the mystery, and yeah, the risk, what do you think about all this? So I'll leave you with the very same question our source material ends on. Is it concerning that a tool used so widely and so effectively to shape public opinion isn't even fully understood? What does it mean when the people designing our narratives are working with a blueprint that's, well, incomplete? Now that is something we're thinking about.